Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. And in News You Need to Know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. Record yields across the U.S. and favorable conditions around the world this harvest season have brought the lowest prices of wheat in nearly a decade, causing a dilemma for elevator operators as oversupply of wheat has caused overcapacity in some areas. These depressed prices are contributing to a general downward spiral of the farm economy, along with the possibility of cuts to certain programs in the Farm Bill, such as crop insurance and Title I programs. The National Association of Wheat Growers encourages growers to complete the Farm Bill survey and contribute their voices to the planning of a successful Farm Bill. The survey can be found at wheatworld.org. New rules are in effect for small unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, which can expand their use in agriculture. Joe Mora with the FAA says the rules might sound restrictive, but the demand we've seen and the operations that can be conducted, especially in the farming industry, opens up a whole new world of possibilities. The new rules expand the hours of daylight operations of drones. It is also important to remember that drones must always yield the right-of-way to manned aerial vehicles. In response to customers and partners' input, USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service announced significant enhancements to the Conservation Stewardship Program. Beginning with the new enrollment period later this year, the updated CSP will provide conservation-minded producers with more options to improve conditions on working land and will offer nearly double the enhancements in conservation practice opportunities as before. And in local news, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment has issued a warning for 5 area lakes and reservoirs found with blue-green algae. Lakes under warning are not closed, but if swim beaches are closed, it will be noted. Drinking water and showers at parks are safe and not affected by algae blooms. Boating and fishing are safe on lakes under warnings, but contact with the water should be avoided. For more information about the warning or the waters affected, go to kdheks.gov. As farmers watch their soybeans crop mature, they should start thinking about the annual Kansas Soybean Yield and Value Contest. Entries must be postmarked no later than December 1st. K-State Extension personnel or designee must witness the harvest. A designee may be anyone not involved with the farm enterprise. The complete rules are available at kssoybeans.org/contest on the web, or call KS Soybeans office at 877-KS Soybean. A change in the law going into effect on January 1st, 2017 will require that certain types of medicated livestock feed can only be purchased with a valid veterinary feed directive from a licensed veterinarian. The changes also require that the producer and a veterinarian have a veterinary client-patient relationship. K-State Research and Extension will host a dinner meeting on September 27th at 6 p.m. at Uniontown High School in Uniontown, Kansas, to address these changes and what producers can expect. To register to attend this meeting, call 620-223-3720.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Have a few of these lying around? Did you buy too much fertilizer last year? At Premier Farm & Home, we take the guesswork out of getting your yard ready. Let the experts at Premier Farm & Home measure your yard for free, and we'll make recommendations so your yard's the best on the block. Premier Farm & Home, located across from Forbes Field in Topeka.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Great. Hi, my name is James Williams. I'm the president of Engage Cuba. Engage Cuba is a bipartisan coalition of private sector companies, farmers, and Americans who are interested in a new relationship with Cuba. We are here to advocate for a lifting of the travel ban and the trade embargo. So today we are in Kansas to launch the Engage Cuba Kansas State Council. It's composed of leaders from across the state, led with our co-sponsor Kansas Wheat Commission, as well as the soybean industry, livestock, corn, the manufacturing community, the telecommunications and energy and community, as well as education and other leaders across the state who think after 55 years of a policy that hasn't worked, it's time for a change. We think that this is not just an opportunity for Cuba, not just an opportunity for Kansas, but an opportunity for both of us. You know, Cuba imports $2 billion worth of agriculture every year, $2 billion. And the U.S. is now currently allowed to sell agricultural products to Cuba, but it can't do so competitively. We still are not able to access private credit to be able to make those sales. So even though we're 90 miles away, we sell all the things that Cuba buys. We're less than 10% of Cuba's imports to date. They're now getting it from South America, Europe, and Asia. And that just doesn't make sense. You know, we know that when they have a level market, level playing field, there's nothing that we can do that will stop American agriculture from being competitive. But we just need Congress to get out of the way, allow Americans to travel, which will increase agricultural exports. You know, Cuba's the only country in the world, think about it, the only country in the world with a tourist travel ban. You can go to North Korea, but you can't go to Cuba, according to our Congress. And the Congress needs to change its policy to allow American farmers to compete. There's a simple bill that just allows for private financing of agricultural sales to Cuba. No U.S. government taxpayer benefit, no taxpayer hook. This is simply a private financial risk if the companies are willing to take it on. I think everyone in Kansas can agree that that's pretty commonsensical. And more importantly and more broadly for the long term, we need to fully lift the embargo. If we're going to have a policy with Cuba where we expect a full and robust trade relationship to the benefit of all of us, we expect over $5 billion a year as the annual economic impact if Congress were to lift the embargo. That means real money in real people's pockets here in Kansas. People, not just money, but jobs, all the ancillary services that come along with that type of trade. And I think Kansas knows that when nations trade together, they are both stronger for it. And so we're here today. This is our 14th state council. We're thrilled to have the leadership from across this state supporting this. And I'd also like to particularly thank Senator Moran and Senator Roberts, who have been longtime champions on this issue, Congressman Yoder for his support. And we're calling on the rest of the congressional delegation of Kansas to get on the same page with your constituents, with your agribusiness, with your trade community here who want to see this move forward. So thank you again. We're really thrilled to be here and appreciate all the support we've seen across the state for this new relationship.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thank you for this opportunity. We are here as part of an invitation from the Kansas Wheat Association, Kansas Wheat Commission, to come with a Cuban team to know about the experience of this state regarding the production and the different process of the wheat here. This is a unique opportunity. It's part of the exchange that both countries could have in the agribusiness sector. A process in which we can learn about the expertise and the knowledge, the know-how, and the state-of-the-art technology that you have here for the processing of the wheat. At the same time, it's an opportunity to expand the relationship in the agricultural activity, since, as you know, Cuba and United States, we are neighbors, and there are a lot of opportunity for having a more dynamic relationship. A relationship that I have to recognize the effort of the agribusiness sector here in the United States, that since the 90s have been very active in the process of normalizing economic and trade relationship between the two countries. In particular, the agribusiness sector have demand and has been active in Congress on that regard. And in the year 2000, as you must be aware, some regulations were approved regarding the possibility for Cuba to buy food in this market, but the conditions that were imposed were onerous. So I think that we need to change this policy. There are not two-way trade between the two countries. We cannot sell in this market. There are not access to credit. There are no banking correspondent relationship to make payment easier. The agribusiness sector of the United States has been affected by this condition too, since they are not competing in the same condition with the rest of the world in order to get into the Cuban market. So we are reducing the purchases in this market because of the impossibility of having access to credit in order to have purchases of food in this market. There are a lot of effort here in the United States from the agribusiness sector. You can move all around. I can tell you that the U.S. Agricultural Coalition for Cuba, that is an organization that are doing lobby, are gathering many of the farmers and federation organizations from the agribusiness sector in this effort to have a normal trade relationship, in this effort to have access, for the business sector to have access to credit to do trade with Cuba. So I think that the next step are on the idea of trying to convince and to change in Congress this policy of restriction that is not helpful for the agribusiness sector here in United States, is creating a lot of difficulties and hardship to the Cuban people that is the one that is suffering from that. There are economic damages to Cuba regarding this policy of economic sanctions and restriction, and the agribusiness sector here in the United States has been a pioneer in this effort to change this policy.
Water is one of the most vital natural resources on our planet, and managing water rights within the state of Kansas is one of the most important responsibilities of the Kansas Department of Agriculture's Division of Water Resources. I'm Chris Badel, Program Manager with the division. In the past few weeks, Kansas has completed 3 milestone agreements to settle water rights issues in the state. At the end of August, after more than 2 years of negotiations among Kansas, Colorado, and Nebraska, the Republican River Compact Administration approved 2 long-term agreements among the states. These agreements resolve years of long-standing conflict over the use of water from the Republican River Basin. The resolutions were the result of open dialogue and will provide flexibility and greater certainty to all water users in the region. Then, in mid-September, the state of Kansas and the Kickapoo Tribe of Northeast Kansas signed the Kickapoo Water Rights Settlement Agreement to quantify and protect the tribe's federal water right. This is the first quantification of a tribal reserve water right in Kansas. These agreements are notable not only for their success in achieving fair, common-sense resolutions to challenging water rights conflicts, but for the positive working relationships we've developed with the Kickapoo Tribe and with our neighbors in Colorado and Nebraska. The Division of Water Resources administers many laws and responsibilities in our commitment to managing, protecting, and preserving water, this precious natural resource for all Kansans. You can find more information about these and other water-related issues at our website, agriculture.ks.gov/DWR.
Finding a wheat variety that performs well in terms of both quality and protein becomes a survival of the fittest to see which varieties outlast the others under hot and dry conditions. Krishna Jagadish, Kansas State University Associate Professor in Agronomy, and his team impose heat and drought stress on post-flowering plants to determine which ones will cave under pressure and which ones will overcome the odds. To test these plants, promising heat-tolerant wheats, including 7 Kansas varieties, are grown in growth chambers and then exposed to drought and heat. But growth chambers can have some limitations, so field trials are done as well, using heat tents that can be moved to different plots in the field. Jagadish says, "We want to be as close to the realistic field conditions as possible. We try to impose heat and drought stress at different stages, particularly during the flowering stage or the post-flowering stage, because that's when most of the wheat grown in Kansas is exposed to those conditions. Heat spells that happen when wheat is flowering inhibit fertilization, producing no seed at all. When a heat spell happens after flowering, toward harvesting time, the grain is smaller and the quality is compromised. Most of the lines being tested in this project already exhibit heat tolerance, but if a better source of tolerance can be found, it can be incorporated into the wheat breeding program."
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business, providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Youth from 90 counties have entered 2,063 animals in the 84th Kansas Junior Livestock Show, sponsored by Cargill. This is the largest number of livestock entered in more than 25 years, up 200 head from last year's record. A total of 798 exhibitors plan to bring livestock projects to the statewide event, which will take place September 30th through October 2nd at the Kansas State Fairgrounds in Hutchinson. Also during the show, KJLS will present a number of scholarships to exhibitors who have excelled academically, in community service, and in 4-H and FFA. This is the 24th year for the scholarship program, which has awarded a total of $390,500 to 294 KJLS exhibitors since 1993. Last year, a total of $21,800 was awarded to 13 exhibitors. New this year, KJLS will be offering the LEAD Challenge, which is an educational and advocacy activity that provides an opportunity for exhibitors to learn about current industry issues. Exhibitors in the senior division will compete in the showmanship, go through an interview process, and take a written exam. Juniors will compete in showmanship and be interviewed. There are 59 seniors and 92 juniors entered in this year's challenge. The Kansas Livestock Association, Kansas State University, and the Agribusiness Council of Wichita serve as the three major sponsors of the show.
Good morning. I'm Derek Hermish with Paragon Ag. A good friend of mine who has a small stake in the cattle business recently told me he was optimistic about cattle prices going higher as we move forward from here. I asked him why. Not agreeing or disagreeing with him, but just wanting to know why he thought the way he did. My friend made some comments that had to do with price gone down already, and eventually it has to start coming back. But when I questioned him again for what I felt was a weak defense of his position, he simply smiled and said probably the biggest reason he was optimistic was that he had recently bought some calves. That line of reasoning is refreshing to hear. Having the ability to be honest with yourself will lead to better decision making. I'm guessing there's plenty of cattlemen who are optimistic the market for that same reason, though they may not care to admit it. Eventually they're going to be right, but making money backgrounding or finishing cattle has become a particularly treacherous road to navigate here in the last couple of years, and especially in the last 6 months. It can be done, but it takes more than hard work and a positive attitude. Risk management steps have to be taken the day you buy them and need to continue to be monitored for adjustments up until you sell them. Go ahead and be optimistic, but do some inner reflection from time to time to make sure you're being realistic. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association. Supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.